Have you ever encountered a person that says we are like a blank sheet of paper the moment we are born? Or perhaps you are living in a Christian country believing that someone is the source of all power here in the world? Or there was once a moment in your life wherein you were so sure of something, then moments later on, you start to doubt if it was really there or if it was real. A philosopher named John Locke thought of these things. Find out more of his thinking watching this crash course video.
John Locke was an English philosopher born on August 28, 1632 in Rington, Somerset, and he came of age during the English Revolution. He would see the British Crown return to power and eventually be transformed into a constitutional monarchy during the Glorious Revolutions. He is known as father of empiricism, champion of revolutionaries, and founder of liberalism.
John Locke studied medicine under Robert Boyle. He got his Bachelor of Medicine on February 1675. He served as physician of Earl of Shaftesbury, and by using his medicinal understanding, he saved his life from a liver infection. Earl of Shaftesbury returned favor by making him the Secretary of Board of Trade and Plantations, and the Secretary to the London Proprietor of Carolina.
Locke contributed in the development of epistemology, political analysis, and religious toleration. Epistemology is what we know and how we deal with it. He was one of the first empiricists. Empiricists claims that the only way to gain knowledge is through experience. He opposed Descartes' rationalism, the concept of innate ideas, reason, and deduction. Locke said that the rationalist institutionalism is incoherent. In his book, An Essay Concerning Human Understanding, he claimed that the mind is a blank state or a tabula rasa when we are born. Knowledge were gained through experience, observation, and experimentation. No man's knowledge here can go beyond his experience. Through experience, we learn. Locke's belief supports Francis Bacon that human understanding has limits. Whatever idea was never perceived by the mind was never in the mind.
John Locke claimed that there are two categories of reality, the primary and secondary. Primary is mind-independent. They exist in typical world external to us. Secondary, on the other side, is mind-dependent. These are ideas we perceive and doesn't exist on external world.
One example is an ice cream. Its extension, figure, solidity, and number are part of primary qualities. Its color, taste, smell, and sound, however, are part of secondary qualities. If we look at the ice cream, we will see its structure, but as we ate it, our mind tells us the taste of it.
John Locke also discussed about personal identity. He said that personal identity persists over time because you retain memories of yourself at different points, and each of those memories are connected one before it. He says that if you can remember your first day of kindergarten, you still have the connection with the same kid.
John Locke believed that we don't have innate ideas. Everyone has an idea. It is a feature of the mind. According to him, there are two types of ideas, simple and complex. Simple ideas came to us through our senses. With our senses, we can get simple ideas. Complex ideas refers to what happened when we think of those simple ideas. It is when we add or separate and compare or contrast simple ideas. In addition to this, we have abstract ideas. It is the ways which we all resemble each other, leading to generalization from determining any particular existence.
5 sorts of ideas. Idea of power. Attributes to experience of regular patterns of change, giving rise first to expectations that like changes will for the future be made in the same thing by like agents, and by the like ways, and they to the thought that in one thing exists the possibility of being changed, and in another the possibility of making the change. idea of experience, of leisure, and for are important simple ideas. They are responsible for our ideas and good and evil. Ideas of simple modes refers to the different modes of extensions idea. Idea of mixed modes arise with the combination of unlike simple ideas, just like a rainbow. Idea of relation. These are the ideas of father, son, in-law, young, and so on.
Locke's political philosophy were greatly affected by multiple historic events from Civil War, Commonwealth, Restoration, Glorious Revolution, and the Bill of Rights. His Stratasys of Government was published at the same year with the Bill of Rights. John Locke opposed the idea of absolutism, which is a political theory that says that power should be vested in one or more rulers. On his political work, Two Treatises of Government, he talked about the legitimacy of a government. At first, this work was believed to have been written by Locke to support the Glorious Revolution, but it was confirmed that it was written before it. It is composed of two treatises. First treatise, Sir Robert Filmer's Patriarcha, or the Natural Power of Kings. Locke argued against using a king's divine right as a way to legitimize the government. In the second treatise, draw Locke's social contract theory.
Social contract theory says that an individual is being into a state of nature. Each person has God-given natural rights. These rights are not subject to any kind of government. It is the law of nature which uses reason. Locke mentioned the natural rights of human, which are right to life, liberty, and property.
John Locke's political idea consists of three things: natural rights, consent, and moral obligation to revolt. It consists of right to life, liberty, and property. Natural rights are God-given. No one can take it away from you. Right to life is right to live. You can live whatever you want as long as you don't hurt other people's right. The right to property is the product of having life. Anything we acquire as a result of physical labor becomes our property.
The people chose a hero to protect them, and so the government was born. We make a compact with the government. If the government denies our rights, according to John Locke, we have the moral obligation to revolt against or otherwise replace any government that exists only to the people's benefit.
Men use laws to refer judgment for their actions. Locke's moral theory discusses three laws that we usually use to judge our actions. First, the divine law, whereby the law which God has set to the actions of men. We use this to judge if our actions are sins or duties. Secondly, the civil law, the rule set by the Commonwealth to the actions of those who belong to it, is another rule to which men refer their actions, to judge whether they be criminal or no. Thirdly, the law of opinion or reputation. Virtue and vice are names pretended and supposed everywhere to stand for actions in their own nature, right and wrong. And as far as they really are so applied, they are far coincident with the divine law.
The 17th century is known as War of Religions. John Locke was a Protestant himself. He believed that these people who torture or threaten people to believe them acting out of Christian principle. However, he didn't tolerate Catholics and atheists. He says Catholics shouldn't be trusted because they are being loyal to the Pope, and atheists didn't have a holy scripture to swear an oath and have the fear.
John Locke believed that men are higher than animals because human knows about the Creator. For him, the society was formed because of man's passion of revenge and greediness. He was also known in his lifetime as a staunch defender of religious toleration. In this passage, he calls for the complete separation of church and magistrate.
Second,
Locke contributed in the development of
dito yung
Kings divine right away at
right? The primary and secondary.
ano? Huwag ka na magtatawa ka doon.
Okay, sige na. Ito, seryoso.
Chantal.